I want to show you how you can make your own energy or protein snacks, all the steps involved, exactly what you have to do, and you'll be able to see how easy it is, how long it takes, and how much money you can make, as well as the other benefits of cooking it yourself. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to give you the tools to be able to save time, make money, make the food that you want to eat, potentially be healthier, and to be trying new things. Let's get started. First things first, pick out the ingredients that you want. What kinds of nuts do you like? What kinds of dried fruits do you like? Do you want oats in there? Do you want grains in there? Do you want it chocolatey or do you want it cinnamony? Do you want some protein powders in there? Whatever it is that you want, pick it out. You can see I've gone with a selection of nuts, some dried raisins and dates, some oats, and then I've got some cocoa powder and some peanut butter, but you can choose whatever you want. And there's plenty of recipes out there. I'm just going to show you how you can do it. And the great thing about cooking yourself is if you don't want any grains in there, if you're going for a gluten-free diet or a vegan diet, or if you want proteins in there, or if you want a vegan protein in there, or if you don't want things like syrup or honey or agave nectar in there and you'd rather have dried fruits, you can make it just the way you want it. As opposed to having to choose from the available options, you can just make your own options. You'll now see how I make this, but the essence of it is you grind the nut and the dried fruit and any grains you want, any peanut butter you want to add, any syrup or honey in there if you want to add that as well, whatever powder it is, whether it's cacao powder or cinnamon or protein powder, into sort of a paste that will stick, and then form it into a bar or a ball, whatever shape that takes your fancy. If you want the snack to have a bit more of a bite, then what you do is pulse the nuts and set some aside and add that back in at the end, as I do in the video. And the grains are better to put in towards the end so that they hold some of their textural size and they don't become too small. Add the powder towards the end after everything has already blended, and then you can also gauge how much powder you want to add to make sure that it can still stick. Once you've done that, you just form it into whatever shape you want, and then voila. You can make a bigger batch, which will save you a lot more time. It'll store for a while just in the cupboard, or you can put it in the fridge or the freezer, and it'll probably last for weeks, maybe months. I think it'll take about 2.5 minutes for you to make it. It took me a little bit longer because I wanted to show you how to do each step by step. If you're making it yourself, you just blend it all together and then form it at the end, as opposed to what I do, where I show you at different stages forming it into a ball to show what kind of a texture it needs to be. And if you make a bigger batch, you can save more time and make more money. And then you also don't have to think about making another batch for like a week or maybe 2 weeks or even longer. And the benefits are that you can save time, because once you've made a batch, you don't have to go to the shop and line up and decide what you want to do and queue and then pay and then walk back. And even if you're going to the shop anyways to buy something else, you don't have to spend time deciding which one you want to get because you've already made it. You can just pack it in the morning and wherever you're off to, you've got it with you. And you can make money because buying the ingredients is cheaper than buying the snack, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And you can make it exactly to your taste. Whichever your favorite nut is, use those. Whichever dried fruit is your favorite, add that. Whatever spices you want to add in there, add that. If you want it to be a protein snack, add some protein powder. If you want it to be a vegan protein snack, add some vegan protein powder, like rice protein or pea protein or soy protein. If you want it to be gluten-free, use gluten-free oats or other grains. Or if you like your grains in there, then use whatever grains you want. If you want it to be airier, you can use those puffed rice. If you want it to be a bit denser, you can use oats. That would have a bit more of a chewy texture. If you want it to be stickier, you can use honey or syrup. If you want it less sweet, just have more grains or more nuts in there. If you have a bit of a sweet tooth, then more syrup, more dried fruit. Whatever you want. And then you can develop your own recipes. If the one time you do it is a bit too sweet, next time add a bit less dried fruit. One time it's a bit too dense, then maybe add fewer nuts. Now, let's talk money, money, money. I'm going to compare the price of buying an energy snack with buying the ingredients used in those snacks. First up, the Primal Pantry Almond and Cashew Paleo Energy Bar costs £1.50 and is 45 grams. That is made up of 50% dates, 30% almonds, 20% cashews. So if you buy these ingredients here and make it with the same composition of the ingredients, that will cost you 48.5p compared to £1.50, which is about a third of the price. We all love a buy one get one free, but how about buy one get two free? Not bad. Bogged. Not quite the ring of bog off. And if you're eating one of these every day, you can make £365 in a year just by making these yourself. The Beyond Apple and Cinnamon Bar, which is 99p and is 35 grams. That is made with about 42% dates, 34% cashews, 10% apples, dried apples, 8% agave nectar, 5% raisin and about 1% cinnamon. And if you buy these ingredients here and make it to the same composition, that is 37.9p. Again, that's about a third of the price. Now let's look at a protein one. Bounce Peanut Protein Blast Ball, which costs £1.89 for 45 grams and is 34% peanuts, about 31% rice malt syrup, 16% whey protein isolate, 5% whey protein concentrate and 2% whey protein hydrolysate, as well as about 12% of concentrated grape juice, which I actually have no idea how to buy and have never bought before in my life. And if you buy these ingredients, and I'm just going to mix together the whey protein hydrolysate with the isolate because it's easier to find, then the cost of making that yourself to the same composition is 62.8p compared to £1.89. And the beauty of making it yourself, if you have a nut allergy, you can use seeds instead, like pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, hemp seed. If you want a vegan one, you can use pea protein. If you'd rather have cherries instead of apples, go ahead. If you'd rather have dried pears or dried mangoes, go ahead. Sticking with the bounce ball, let's say you make a batch of 5 each time and it takes 2.5 minutes to make each batch. So by spending 30 seconds to make one, you are making yourself £1.26. And if you eat 5 of these in a week, that is £328 you can make by cooking these yourself. And that is an hourly rate of £151 per hour. What's the minimum wage in the UK right now? It's about £7. So for anyone whose hourly wage is not quite close to £150 an hour, and you buy these snacks on a regular basis, if you make this yourself, you're going to make more money doing that than your job. So if you've got 2.5 minutes in the evening or a weekend and you buy these snacks regularly, you can earn yourself much more by making it yourself instead of buying them. My recommendation is that if you're doing it for the first time, look up a recipe and follow it. Because what we don't want happening is for a first trial to go really badly and then to never attempt again. Because the ratios can be quite important. It's not that sensitive, but if there's too much dry ingredients, then it won't clump together. If there's too little, it'll be too sweet and too pasty. So I'd recommend finding a recipe, trying it, and then once you've tried that, adjust to make it fit your personal taste through iterations. Baby steps. And just like no baby ever falls down the first time they try and walk and go, you know what, I'm never walking again, let's do the same thing with cooking. Just because we fail once should never mean that we never try that thing again. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I've shown you visually exactly how you can make it, how easy it is, how short it takes, and how much money you can make by cooking it yourself. Stay tuned to watch the other analysis that I do, the reviews of different foods, discussions on new interesting products that are coming out there, try new things, comment if there's something that you'd like to see an analysis of. Thank you very much and have a tasty day.